for the first question, it was great to have different countries sharing how to bring young people to Christ. And we talked about like the importance of having a personal relationship with Jesus and to bring other youth to Christ through friendship. We also talked about like how it's important to listen to young people and how to understand them and how to meet the youth where they're at without judging them. So to love them first and then to bring them to our Lord. And also like it's important to go back to our countries and to share our experiences with others who were not able to come here. So we also talked about like how we would like for this conference to have more opportunities for small groups. So the next question is how can we tell the youth to rise up? And something that we discussed is that like first it starts with ourselves. So like we have to lead by example. But we also have to remember, like I know in my group we were sharing all of these ideas and how the youth, but we have to remember that the church is not just like a social institution. It's a divine institution. And so we can have all these great ideas and, share all these things, but we also have to remember that we have to act in accordance with what the church teaches and under obedience to our Pope and our bishops and our priests. So we also talked about how can young people rise up? Is to give people smaller roles to start instead of giving them something very big, and to be a witness. So our priests, they have to be prophetic witnesses so that they can guide young people. We also need to have that missionary spirit. So souls are in danger, and of course the Lord is merciful, and our Lord can take to heaven whomever He wants. But He commanded us to go and share the gospel with all nations, and so it's important for us to realize that we need to learn. We need to learn. Let our Lord use us, so that we can bring more souls to Him that otherwise could be lost. We need to help young people to realize that the church needs them, because sometimes young people think that the church does not need them. We also talked about how it's important for us to build something together and to pray together of what our Lord wants for the youth in Europe. How can we collaborate with other sectors? So we talked about intergenerational ministries. So we think it's important for young people to have the space just for them to have activities that target them, but it's also important for the youth to also mix with older generations, because those generations can be mentors for them. And so whenever it's time for them to transition out of college, out of school, then they can be more easily plugged in with the local church. We also talked about vocational discernment and how discernment is important for our youth and for them to kind of be integrated in the local church. We also talked about how can the students get involved in the church after, and so we said those intergenerational ministries, but also maybe having some sort of alumni network, so that whenever students graduate, they can have already that support system to kind of guide them on their journey after college or high school. We also talked about how the church needs to invest more in education, not just for students, but also for educators. Because students are thirsting for the truth, but educators also have to be prepared and be educated. we also talked about how like things start with the local parish, right? So like collaborating with other ministries. As a campus chaplain, like you may not be able to collaborate as much with, I don't know, a diocese or like a bishop's conference, depending on where you're at. But like things start with the local church. So like having that support in the local church for young people to get involved in their time at school, but also to have a group of Catholics, you know, after school, after graduating from school. And that's it. Thank you.